We all love change, don't we? We all just love change. Hey, honey, my mom is she's visiting us tomorrow unannounced. Yeah, and she's staying for 2 weeks. Worst of all, your favorite Netflix show just announced that it's being canceled. No! Change is inevitable. And resistance to change is a very natural reaction. We all love being in the comfort of what we know. So when change happens, yeah, there is going to be that uneasy feeling, that resistance. But is there anything that we can do to help make that change journey a little less rocky? My name is James Yao. I'm a certified ProSci change management practitioner and teacher. Today, I'm going to be going over, first of all, individual change foundation, focus on the individual. Why is change management important? And lastly, the ADKAR model. This is a model that you can use to help navigate yourself and your team through change. Organizations don't change. People within organizations change. When we think about change, we have to think about who is the change impacting. It's the people. So whether it be a shift in mission, a change in funding climate, there's increased demand, new branding for one reason or another, unexpected rapid growth. I'm sure all of you have experienced changes similar to this, and I'm sure a lot of you may have even experienced multiple of these changes at the same time. So looking at the picture, I'm sure many of you can relate to feeling like that individual who's just hanging on for dear life while the winds of change are swirling. So I want you to take a look at that picture and notice it's an individual. Every individual experiences change differently. They react to change differently. That's why it's important that when we're implementing change, we have to look at it at the perspective of the individual. So why is change management important? So when you go through the 3 states of change, you have current, transition, and future. And typically, when you implement change, you're just thinking of it holistically. This is how it's going to go. We have our current phase, we're going to transition, and we're going to have a future state. But if you look on the bottom row, implementing change without change management, it's going to more look like this. If the change that you implement is sending out an email saying, hey people, here's the change, training will be shortly, please attend. And that's how you implement change. What's really going to happen is that transition is going to be rocky. People are going to be questioning, why did we change? What is this change? I don't understand how to do this change. So that transition is going to be rocky. And take a look at the future state, what I call the Swiss cheese state. So you're in the green, you're going to have some people who are on board with the change. They learned how to learn the change, and they learn how to thrive in the change. You're going to have, but you're also going to have people who are the white holes. They are still on board, they're on the ship, but they haven't really bought into the change. They may even be actively resisting the change. And up top here, specifically if it's a big change, you may have completely lost people and they've left your organization because that change management wasn't implemented. No one thought of them as the individuals that are impacted by the change and help them walk through their journey. So I want to go over with you a tool that can be used to help navigate change for individuals and groups. So what I like to call the 5 building blocks for successful change is ADKAR. A, awareness, D, desire, K, knowledge, A, ability, R, reinforcement. Now for this training, I'm going to be using the example of a major reorg. We're talking the whole shebang. So we're going to go from one whole organization, and we're going to split up into 3 divisions with 3 division leads. All right, this is a big, massive change for your organization. Let's go to the first block. A, awareness. Change begins with understanding why. Why are we doing the change? So what is the nature of the change? This would be explaining to your people that we're going to be splitting up into 3 divisions. Each of the divisions are going to have a lead. Each division is going to have its own distinct mission and function. Why is the change needed? Well, there was an independent outside audit that was done on our organization, and we aren't doing things the most effective way we could be doing things. What is the risk of not changing? According to the audit, we're only going to survive a few more years if we continue down this path. So I just spoke to the what is the nature of the change, why is it needed, and what is the risk of not changing. So let's go to the next block. D, desire. Change involves personal decisions. This is the individual making a personal decision to engage in the change. So this involves the what's in it for me. So what's in it for me? Each of the division leads are going to be able to give you that time and give you that attention that I can't, as one leader, give all my people. So you're going to get more focused time, more focused help. You're also going to have more clearer roles and clearer responsibilities. Right now, we act kind of like spaghetti, and we're stepping on each other's toes, and we're doing each other's responsibilities. So breaking out into these divisions is going to give us a clearer function and a clear role. So this is going to make your life easier. So a personal choice. So sometimes we implement change and there really isn't that gold treasure that we can tell people that this change is going to make, you know, is the best thing since sliced bread, right? So there are times when a change may not necessarily be something that you can easily tell people this is the value in it. So especially if you are a trusted leader and you have a close relationship with your people, sometimes with desire, you need to do that personal plea. Just saying, hey, I know that you've been on board with me for a few years. I need you just to trust me that this is really the best thing for the organization. Here's another thought. The right answer is not enough. What does it look like when you give your people the problem and let them come up with a solution? So for them, they may even come up with the solution that you came up with, except this time they took ownership of it, and they feel a sense of accomplishment, a sense of camaraderie, and you are going to have sales and so sales on your sailboat to push through the change and to support the change. So think about leveraging the influential people in your organization to help with that desire block. Let's move to the next block. K, knowledge. So knowledge, the change requires knowing how. This is speaking to that head knowledge, understanding how to change. Does everyone understand how their roles are going to change? Do they understand how their jobs are going to change? Are they going to be taking on new and different responsibilities? So if so, training. Are we providing, do we have a training plan in place for people who are taking on new responsibilities? Are we going to plan out how handoffs are going to be done in regards to handing off jobs and responsibilities? Are people going to have to learn new skills? This is all about, is everyone prepared? Does everyone have the head knowledge to be able to take part in this change? K, knowledge. All right, let's move to the next block. Ability. Change requires action in the right direction. So this is taking that head knowledge and actually putting it into action. So ability is the demonstrated capability to implement the change. So this means that training and mentorship has happened, successful coaching has happened, handoffs were successful, and you're starting to see people work and thrive in their role independently. Not only are you looking at performance, but you're also looking at behavior. People are going to start are positive. People are supportive of working in the new way of working. So that's the ability block. Next block, reinforcement. Change must be reinforced to be sustained. If you don't reinforce the change, you're just going to go back to the old ways. Now, a lot of people, when you think reinforcement, you think, oh, negative reinforcement, laying down the law. But I want you to look at the look at reinforcement in a different perspective. So reinforcement could be gathering feedback from your people, from your team. This could be setting up one-on-ones and talking about, hey, how is the change going for you? Is there anything that I can do to help you navigate this change or help you through this change? Is there anything that you wish we would have done or communicated differently for this change? So really get that feedback. Also, celebrate successes. You know, have that kickoff party of, hey, we are going to start this change on this date and have a kickoff party for it. Maybe after the first quarter, have a thanks for being on board with me ice cream and say, hey, for just to thank everyone for navigating and staying with you during this change for a whole quarter. So celebrate those small successes. Another idea is ask for success stories of how this change, how it bettered their life, how it made their job easier, or how it's made individuals more effective. So there's a lot of ways that you can be implementing reinforcement. So how do you know if you've achieved, if you're ready to move on to the next block? So here are things that you should be hearing. So if you've done awareness effectively, you're going to start hearing, I understand why. I understand why we had to change. I understand the impact if we didn't change. D, desire. You're going to start hearing, I have decided to support the change. I am on board with the change. I want to learn the new way. K, knowledge. I know how to. I know how to do my new job. I know my new role. I know the new system. This is the I know, the head knowledge. A, ability. I am able to. I am able to perform in my new role. I am able to have a positive attitude and to not just work, but to thrive in my new role. That's the A, ability. And then R, reinforcement. I will continue to. I'm going to continue to support this change effort, and I'm going to continue to thrive in the role, in my new role, and work in the new norm. So those are things that you should be hearing once you're ready to move on to the next block. The one thing I do want to note is that this is not a linear process. If you do a poor job of training, getting through that knowledge block, you're going to have people go backwards, back to desire, and you're going to have to reinforce the desire block before you get them back to the knowledge. For desire, if you fail in regards to communicating, like what's that treasure, or getting people on board to say, I will participate in the change, you're going to have to move back to awareness of why we are doing this and the impact of, if we don't do this, what will happen. So this is not a linear model. This is not a linear journey. People can regress. So I'm going to show you a simplified ADKAR assessment. This doesn't have to be scientific, but I want you to take, you can apply this to a simple change or a big change. You can apply this to a personal change or a change at work. So basically what you want to do is you want to take a look at each of the elements, and it doesn't have to be scientific, but rank them 1 to 5. Awareness, do you feel it's low out of 1, or is it high out of 5? Desire, 1 all the way to 5, and so on. Once you do an ADKAR assessment on any change, what you're going to see is that you're going to have different ADKAR profiles for not just individuals, but even you may have different profiles for groups. For example, right here, you may have negative Nancy on your team who is stuck in that desire. They understand what the change is and why we're doing it, but they are stuck in the desire because they have no interest in participating in the change. Over to the right, you may see maybe the marketing team. You're going with new branding, and the marketing team has no idea how, and they're stuck in the K because they have no idea like how to market the new brand. So every individual and even every group has its own profile, and they experience change differently, and they react to change differently. Again, back to that individual perspective, not everyone changes at the same pace. For some people, it takes them a long time to process change before they get on board with change. For some people, it's going to take them a little bit longer to learn how to work in the new norm, whereas some people may be very adept to change and can learn things very quickly. So not everyone changes at the same pace. So I'm not going to spend time today, but ProSci has a host of change management plans and deliverables that, that will actually help you address each of the elements of ADKAR. So if you have interest in digging a little bit deeper into change management, you can contact me and I can walk you through different change management plans and deliverables. So none of what we discussed today is rocket science. If anything, today is just a reminder that before you implement any sort of change, small, medium, and especially for big changes, just stop and think about your people. think about your people as individuals, that they each have their own individual change journey that they have to get through. The smoother that you make the change journey for the change that you're about to implement now, the better off you're going to be even for future changes that you're going to implement. Again, my name is James Yao. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I hope you found this session helpful. Thank you.